going to be talking about graphing equations in slope-intercept form. We need to make sure we understand what both of these words mean though. Slope, remember we think of that as various different ways. The easiest way to think of it is rise over run, but this is basically the rate of change of a line. And y-intercept, that's going to be where a graph crosses the y-axis. So make sure you understand what both of those things mean, because today we're talking about slope-intercept form. You probably have seen this before. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is going to be your slope and b is your y-intercept. If b is positive, you just go up to your y-intercept. If b is negative, you just go down to your y-intercept. This is going to be your favorite way to graph a line, because it's super easy to use slope-intercept form. It's by far the easiest way to graph a line. And it's always y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So if we look at example 1, we want to write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line with a slope of 3/4 and a y-intercept of -2. Then we're going to graph the equation. So we first have to remember y equals mx plus b is slope-intercept form, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So I'm going to just label both those things are. My slope is m, so I know my slope is 3/4, and b is my y-intercept, which is -2. So now I can write my equation. Y equals mx plus b, just simply by plugging in these two numbers. Y equals m, 3/4, x plus b, which is -2. Then I'm going to simplify my equation, because I know adding a negative can be simplified. So I get y equals 3/4 x. Adding -2 is the same thing as just subtracting 2. So y equals 3/4 x minus 2. I've wrote my equation simply just using the slope-intercept form, plugging in the slope and the y-intercept. Now I'm going to graph this. To graph it, it's really easy. First thing, whenever you graph something in slope-intercept form, find the y-intercept. My y-intercept is -2, so I just go down 2. Here's my y-intercept of 0, -2. And then to find my next point, I can just use the slope. My slope is 3/4, but we know slope is rise over run, which means from 0, -2, I go up 3 over 4. Here's my second point, and if I would look, this point is 4, 1. And now I've got my 2 points, and I can make my line. So this is way easier than finding our intercepts or making a table like we've done in the past. We just put on our y-intercept, use our slope to find our next point, and make our line. Pretty easy compared to some of the other things that we've done.